In most parts of our country, recycling is a common practice. In the developing world, recycling is an informal activity to make an income handled nearly exclusively by impoverished members of society. They risk their health and safety literally digging through landfills sometimes to make a living. For example, in Bangalore, India, people who collect waste recycle an estimated 600 tons a day, and while their efforts go largely unrecognized, their removing waste can greatly improve the health of the community.
The other thing to mention is that the people occupying this space are historically marginalized. So in India, it was the untouchables, it was reserved for it in the caste system. You know, that system doesn't exist now, but it's still an economically disadvantaged population. And so when you get this confluence of population and disadvantaged, marginalized groups, you know, the way that recycling happens is in the shadows of the city. It's happening in back alleys, it's happening in vacant lots, it's happening in the outskirts, happens under nightfall when people don't see them, so they don't get harassed and, you know, they can go about their business. So what we've been doing in Bangalore is to essentially put this population on the map. And the first thing we did was to create legitimate space for this to take place. So we got land from the government, and it was formally sanctioned, and we started building recycling centers on this. And so we did
it's like you deputize people.
Exactly. Yeah. We were doing one per neighborhood and saying, look, you know, we've got to put this on the map, and then we've got to identify the people and give them some legitimacy so that they can create this legitimate occupation in the city.
You know, in developed countries, a lot of people are saying that, you know, if they're developing, there could be civil unrest there could be famine there, and recycling is kind of like a low priority for them. Do you think this needs to change?
Well, I don't think that, you know, recycling is going to save the world on its own. And I think stacked up against communities that are in crisis, you know, it's going to take a back seat. But, you know, most neighborhoods, most cities aren't in crisis, and this is an opportunity to create some economic development. You know, you're taking materials that are cast off as rejects by society, extracting the economic value from them, and then helping use that to pay for its cleanup and create economic activity in this space. And so we've been able to create, you know, hundreds of jobs in Bangalore that didn't exist before just by extracting this waste and recycling it.
If you want more on Brian's work, visit globalcommunities.org. And to hear more stories on environmentalism and recycling, head over to TakePart.com to hear about an effort in India to turn plastic waste into building supplies.